For decades, Intel wasn't just a company. It was the backbone of American computing power. Every laptop, every data center, every technological leap quietly depended on it. But today, Intel is fighting for relevance in a world dominated by a high geopolitics and global chip wars. This is not just the story of a stock. This is the story of whether America can still control the technology that controls everything else. Intel today exists in two worlds at once. In financial markets, it is judged by earnings and margins. In Washington, it is viewed as strategic infrastructure. This dual identity makes Intel unique among tech companies. Very few corporations carry national-level consequences if they fail. Intel is one of them. Modern power is built on computation. AI models, weapon systems, financial markets, and cloud infrastructure all require advanced chips. Countries without access to semiconductors cannot compete economically or militarily. This makes chip manufacturing one of the most important industries on Earth. Intel once controlled both chip design and manufacturing better than anyone else. But delays in process nodes and internal execution problems allowed competitors to overtake it. This wasn't a sudden collapse. It was a slow erosion that markets punished heavily. TSMC focused on one thing: manufacturing excellence. While Intel tried to do everything, TSMC specialized. Over time, the world's best chip designers migrated to TSMC. This shifted the center of semiconductor power away from the U.S. TSMC's fabs sit in Taiwan, a geopolitical flashpoint. Any conflict there would instantly disrupt global supply chains. This reality terrifies governments. It is the single biggest reason the U.S. needs Intel to succeed again. The CHIPS Act was not about jobs, it was about survival. The U.S. government decided that relying on foreign fabs was unacceptable. Intel became the cornerstone of America's semiconductor independence strategy. Intel now operates with implicit government backing. That does not guarantee success, but it reduces existential risk. Investors often underestimate how much this matters. Few companies can fail without political consequences. Intel is not one of them. Intel's move into foundry services is transformative. It changes Intel from a product company into infrastructure. If Intel succeeds here, it becomes indispensable to governments and corporations alike. Running a foundry requires scale, trust, and flawless execution. Customers must believe Intel will prioritize them fairly. Any hint of favoritism could destroy credibility. This makes Intel's transition extremely difficult, but also extremely valuable if successful. Artificial intelligence exploded demand for advanced chips. NVIDIA captured headlines, but CPUs still matter. Data centers require balance, not just accelerators. Intel's relevance depends on integrating itself into the AI stack. Intel is not trying to beat NVIDIA at GPUs. It is trying to remain essential across compute layers. CPUs, networking, memory, and fabrication matter just as much as raw AI acceleration. Design advantages can be copied. Manufacturing advantages cannot. Intel's long-term value depends on whether it can reclaim leadership in advanced nodes. Everything else is secondary. Intel's strategy is ambitious, but markets care about delivery. Missed timelines destroyed trust before. Now Intel has little room for error. Credibility must be rebuilt step by step. Semiconductor manufacturing is brutally expensive. Intel is spending tens of billions before seeing returns. This tests investor patience. The stock reflects skepticism, not certainty. Debt levels, margins, and free cash flow all reflect transition pain. Short-term weakness masks long-term optionality. This is why Intel divides investors so sharply. Markets price Intel like a struggling tech firm. Governments value it like national infrastructure. That gap creates mispricing, but only if execution improves. If Intel fails, the US becomes structurally dependent on foreign fabs. That outcome is politically unacceptable. This reality quietly supports Intel behind the scenes. China's semiconductor ambitions increase pressure on Western supply chains. Intel exists within this competitive tension. Chips are now instruments of diplomacy. Restrictions on advanced chip exports reshape demand. Intel could benefit as governments look for trusted suppliers. Politics may create customers markets alone cannot. Foundry customers will not switch overnight. Intel must prove reliability over years, not quarters. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Intel is not a momentum stock. It is a multi-year strategic bet. Investors expecting quick wins misunderstand the nature of the transition. Government support does not eliminate execution risk. Poor management or technological failure could still derail progress. Intel's future is not guaranteed. If Intel succeeds, it becomes one of the most important companies on Earth again. Not because of hype, but because everything depends on chips. The market rewards excitement. Governments reward reliability. Intel's future lies in becoming boring, stable, and indispensable. Intel is no longer about beating competitors. It is about whether America can still build the foundations of modern power at home. Intel is often described as too old to compete, but in semiconductors, experience is not a weakness. Scale manufacturing, supply chain discipline, and reliability matter more as chips become harder to build. Intel's real failure was complacency and missed deadlines, not relevance. That complacency has now been replaced by urgency. Intel's challenge today is not vision, but execution speed. Public attention is fixated on AI accelerators and advanced nodes like 3 nanometers, but the global economy runs on a wide range of technologies. Automotive systems, defense platforms, energy infrastructure, and industrial control systems rely on mature nodes. Intel's presence across this entire spectrum gives it resilience that pure cutting-edge players lack. AI itself is a systems problem, not a single chip race. Intel has moved beyond being a normal tech company. Its domestic fabs, defense relationships, and trusted supply chains make it a national security priority for the United States. If Intel were to fail, the U.S. would become permanently dependent on foreign semiconductor manufacturing. This is why Intel's success is tied to sovereignty and power, not just earnings. Wall Street is optimized for quarterly results, while semiconductor manufacturing operates on decade-long timelines. Intel's investments look inefficient in the short term, but essential from a geopolitical and industrial perspective. A low valuation does not signal irrelevance, it reflects uncertainty. That uncertainty creates volatility and potential opportunity for long-term investors. Intel does not need to reclaim overwhelming market share to succeed. Its real objective is to remain unavoidable, to be the trusted backbone for governments, defense contractors, and critical infrastructure. Stock volatility and uneven progress are part of the transition, but if Intel becomes essential rather than dominant, it achieves its true strategic victory. In the end, Intel either becomes the backbone of Western semiconductor sovereignty or a cautionary tale of failed execution. There is little middle ground. Intel's story is not about whether one stock outperforms another. It is about whether advanced economies can still build what they depend on. In an age of AI, power politics, and fractured globalization, Intel represents something rare. A company that matters even when markets doubt it. And that is why Intel's future will shape far more than portfolios. It will shape the technological balance of the world,